Look up at the night sky. What do you see? You might see stars, planets, perhaps the faint milky glow of our own galaxy. For all of human history, this was our definition of everything. This vast, dark expanse was the entire universe. But what if I told you that everything you see, every star the Hubble telescope has ever photographed, every galaxy we have ever discovered, all of it, might just be a single grain of sand on an infinite cosmic beach? What if our universe, in all its unimaginable vastness, is not the end of the story, but merely the first sentence in an infinite cosmic library? This isn't philosophy. This is the bleeding edge of modern physics. The idea of a multiverse, a collection of other universes beyond our own, has moved from science fiction into the heart of cosmology. But it's not just one simple idea. It's a series of profound, mind-bending possibilities, each one more shocking than the last. Scientists have created a map, a cosmic map of possibilities that attempts to chart the full scale of reality. And on that map, this is us, our entire observable universe. But the map also says, this is not everything. So, how many multiverses are there? To answer that, we must embark on a journey through 4 distinct levels of reality, each one expanding our definition of everything until the very concepts of space and time begin to lose their meaning. This is the story of the multiverse. Our journey begins with an idea that is not only the most accepted, but also the most unsettlingly simple. It requires no new physics, no wild speculation. It requires only 2 things we believe to be true. First, that space is infinite, and second, that the stuff in it is arranged randomly. This is the level 1 multiverse. Think about our universe, the part we can see. It's a sphere of space, roughly 93 billion light-years across. This isn't the entire universe. It's just the limit of what light has had time to reach us since the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago. It's our cosmic horizon. Anything beyond that horizon is, for now, invisible to us. Now, here is the critical question. What happens if you go beyond that horizon? The simplest and most accepted answer is more universe. More stars, more galaxies, more of the same stuff, governed by the same laws of physics. Now, let's combine this with a fundamental concept. In physics, the particles that make up our universe, protons, electrons, quarks, can only be arranged in a finite number of ways within a finite volume of space. It's a huge number, unimaginably large, but it is finite. Think of it like a deck of cards. If you shuffle a deck of 52 cards, there are many possible combinations. But if you keep shuffling for an infinite amount of time, the exact same sequence of cards is guaranteed to repeat. Not just once, but infinitely many times. Our universe is no different. If space is truly infinite, and there are only a finite number of ways matter can be arranged within a cosmic horizon, then the arrangement of particles that makes up our observable universe must repeat somewhere out there in that infinite expanse. This leads to a staggering conclusion. Far beyond our cosmic horizon, there is another region of space, another bubble of universe, identical to ours, a sphere of space with a galaxy identical to the Milky Way, with a star identical to our Sun, and a planet identical to Earth. And on that planet, there is a person identical to you, reading these exact same words at this exact same moment. And because space is infinite, this doesn't just happen once, it happens infinitely many times. There are infinite versions of you out there. There's a version of you that made a different choice this morning, a version that took that job you turned down, a version that never met your partner. Every possible variation of your life, consistent with the laws of our physics, is being played out in some distant corner of this vast, level 1 multiverse. This isn't speculation. It's the direct, logical consequence of an infinite space. But this is only the first and simplest level of the multiverse. What happens when the laws of physics themselves are no longer the same? What happens when you leave our cosmic bubble entirely? That's where things get truly strange. The answer lies in a theory called eternal inflation, and it will lead us to the level 2 multiverse. But to understand that, we first have to understand the Big Bang not as a singular event, but as a process that may never stop. To understand the level 2 multiverse, we have to rewind the clock back to the very first moment of creation. We call it the Big Bang, a singular point of infinite density that exploded, creating space, time, and everything within it. But what if the Big Bang wasn't a one-time event? This is the core idea behind a theory called cosmic inflation. The theory suggests that in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, the universe underwent a period of exponential, faster-than-light expansion. It inflated from a size smaller than an atom to a size larger than a galaxy in an instant. This inflationary energy is what smoothed out the universe and gave it the structure we see today. Most models suggest this period of inflation eventually ended, allowing the energy to convert into the matter and radiation that fills our cosmos. But a groundbreaking extension of this theory, called eternal inflation, proposes something far more radical. It suggests that while inflation may have stopped in our pocket of space, allowing our universe to form, the process of inflation itself never truly stops on a grander scale. Imagine a vast cosmic ocean of this inflationary energy constantly expanding at an unimaginable rate. And within this ocean, here and there, a small region stops inflating. When it stops, a bubble of normal space-time is formed. A Big Bang happens inside that bubble, creating a self-contained universe. Our universe is just one of these bubbles. But outside our bubble, the inflationary ocean continues to expand and spawn new bubbles, each one a new universe, each with its own Big Bang. This creates a cosmic foam of bubble universes, constantly growing, constantly budding off new realities from the old. This is the level 2 multiverse. What makes this level so profoundly different from level 1 is that these other universes are not just distant regions of our own space. They are physically separate, existing outside our bubble of space-time. We can never reach them, no matter how far we travel. And the implications are even more staggering. During the formation of each bubble, the fundamental constants and properties of physics might settle into different values. Think of it like boiling water. As bubbles form, they all have different sizes and shapes. In the level 2 multiverse, as new bubble universes are born, they might have different physical laws. In one universe, the force of gravity might be stronger. In another, electrons might be heavier. Perhaps there's a universe with 4 spatial dimensions instead of 3. Most of these universes would be sterile, dead places, unable to form complex structures like stars, galaxies, or life. They would be born and die in an instant, a failed experiment in the cosmic laboratory. But in an eternally inflating multiverse, with an infinite number of bubbles being created, it's statistically inevitable that some bubbles would have just the right combination of physical laws to allow for the existence of life. Our universe, with its finely tuned constants that seem tailor-made for our existence, might not be a miracle. It might simply be one of the lucky bubbles where the cosmic lottery was won. This idea provides a stunning, if unsettling, answer to one of the deepest questions in science. Why are the laws of our universe so perfectly suited for life? The answer from the level 2 multiverse is simple. They aren't. We just happen to live in one of the rare universes where they are. In the vast majority of other universes, no one is around to ask the question. We have journeyed beyond our cosmic horizon and even beyond our own Big Bang. But the map of reality has another, even stranger, territory to explore. A place where reality itself splits into multiple copies every single moment. To go there, we must leave the realm of cosmology and enter the bizarre, ghostly world of quantum mechanics. What we find there is the level 3 multiverse, the most controversial and perhaps the most profound of them all. Up until now, the multiverses we've explored have been unimaginably far away, in the distant reaches of space or in entirely separate bubbles of space-time. But the level 3 multiverse is different. It is not far away. In fact, it is right here, all around us, and even within us. It is generated every single moment, by every single quantum event, all the time. To understand this, we have to journey into the strangest and most successful theory in all of science: quantum mechanics. On the large scale of planets and stars, the universe is predictable. Gravity works the same way every time. But on the smallest scales, the world of atoms and particles, reality behaves in a way that defies all common sense. A particle, like an electron, doesn't exist in one single place at one single time. Instead, it exists in a cloud of possibilities, a superposition of every possible state it could be in, all at once. It's a wave of probability. It's only when we measure it, when we look at the particle, that this wave of possibilities collapses, and the particle is forced to choose a single state. This is one of the deepest mysteries in physics. What is so special about our observation that it forces reality to make a choice? In the 1950 seconds, a physicist named Hugh Everett proposed a radical and elegant solution. He said the wave of possibilities never collapses at all. When you make a measurement, the universe doesn't choose one outcome. Instead, the universe itself splits into multiple copies, one universe for every single possible outcome. This is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and it gives birth to the level 3 multiverse. Think of a simple quantum event, like a radioactive atom. It exists in a superposition of two states, decayed and not decayed. When you observe it, you will either see it has decayed or it hasn't. The standard interpretation says that at the moment of observation, reality randomly picks one. But Everett's theory says that at that moment, reality branches. In one branch, the atom has decayed, and a version of you sees it has decayed. In the other branch, the atom has not decayed, and a parallel version of you sees that it has not. Both outcomes happen. Both versions of you are real. Each one is completely unaware of the other, existing in their own parallel quantum reality. Now, scale this up. Every quantum event, everywhere in the universe, is constantly splitting reality into a near infinite number of parallel branches. Every time a photon hits a wall, every time a particle interacts with another, the universe branches. This means that for every choice you have ever made, there is a universe where you made the opposite choice. You turned left instead of right this morning. There's a universe where you turned right, and a version of you is living out the consequences of that decision. That job you didn't take, a version of you took it and is living that life right now. This isn't just about big decisions. It's about every tiny quantum fluctuation in your brain that leads to a thought or an action. The number of parallel worlds being created every second is beyond astronomical. Unlike the level 1 multiverse, where your duplicates are incredibly far away, the other yous of the level 3 multiverse are, in a sense, right here. They exist in a different quantum branch of reality that is split off from our own. These worlds are parallel to ours, stacked on top of each other in an abstract space of possibilities. This theory, while sounding like fantasy, is taken very seriously by many physicists because it elegantly solves the paradoxes of quantum mechanics without adding any new physics. It simply takes the existing equations and follows them to their logical, albeit shocking, conclusion. We have now seen multiverses born from infinite space, from eternally inflating bubbles, and from the strange laws of quantum mechanics. But our map points to one final destination. A level of reality so bizarre, so abstract, that it makes everything we've discussed so far seem ordinary. This is a multiverse not of matter and energy, but of pure mathematics. A world where every logical structure, every possible equation, represents a real, physical universe. Prepare yourself for the final and most mind-bending stage of our journey, the Level 4 Multiverse. We have arrived at the final, most speculative, and most profound level of the cosmic map, the Level 4 Multiverse. This idea, proposed by Max Tegmark himself, is known as the mathematical universe hypothesis. It suggests a relationship between physics and mathematics that is far more intimate than we ever imagined. Throughout history, we have used mathematics as a tool to describe the universe. We discover a physical phenomenon, and we find or create the mathematical equations that model it. It has been so effective that it's almost miraculous. Why should the universe obey mathematical laws at all? The Level 4 hypothesis turns this entire relationship on its head. It makes a bold and staggering claim. The universe is not just described by mathematics. The universe is a mathematical structure. Everything around you, the chair you're sitting on, the air you're breathing, the thoughts in your head is ultimately part of a giant, complex mathematical object. We are not living in a world that happens to follow mathematical rules. We are living inside one of those rules. We are, in a sense, the self-aware parts of a mathematical equation. If you accept this premise, even for a moment, the implication is earth-shattering. If our universe is a mathematical structure, what about other mathematical structures? What about all the other self-consistent equations and geometries that mathematicians can dream up? The Level 4 hypothesis proposes that every self-consistent mathematical structure that can exist, does exist, as a real, physical universe. Every one of them is just as real as our own. This is the ultimate multiverse. It contains not just universes with the same laws of physics, or even different laws of physics. It contains universes with entirely alien forms of reality, governed by mathematical principles that might have no resemblance to our own. There could be a universe based on a form of geometry with 27 dimensions, a universe where time flows in a circle, a universe with no concept of cause and effect. If it can be described by consistent mathematics, it exists. The Level 1, 2, and 3 multiverses are all contained within this ultimate structure. The infinite copies of our universe in Level 1 are just different regions within our mathematical structure. The bubble universes of Level 2 are simply different mathematical structures that can arise from the equations of eternal inflation. The quantum branches of Level 3 are all part of the same underlying quantum mechanical structure. The Level 4 multiverse is the grand library of all possible realities. Every book on every shelf is a different mathematical structure, a different universe with its own unique story. This idea is, of course, deeply philosophical and currently untestable. It is the very edge of what we can imagine. It is both a beautiful and a terrifying thought. Beautiful, because it suggests an ultimate, elegant unity to all of existence, rooted in the timeless purity of mathematics. Terrifying, because it reduces our entire existence, our love, our pain, our triumphs, to the properties of an abstract equation. So, we have completed our journey. We have traveled from the simple idea of more space beyond our horizon to the radical notion that reality itself is a mathematical object. We've gone from Level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Each level has taken us further from the comfortable and familiar. Level 1 suggested other yous are out there, but impossibly far away. Level 2 suggested other universes born from other Big Bangs with different physics. Level 3 suggested that other yous are created every second in parallel quantum worlds. And finally, Level 4 suggests that every possible reality exists. This cosmic map has shown us just how small we might be, and just how vast the true nature of everything could be. But it also leaves us with a profound question. If all these universes exist, why this one? Why do we find ourselves in a universe with this specific set of laws, this specific arrangement of matter? And what does our existence mean? in a cosmos that may contain an infinity of everything. This brings us to a concept known as the anthropic principle. The principle states that the reason we observe the universe to have the properties it does is because if it had different properties, we wouldn't be here to observe it. In a level 2 multiverse, this makes perfect sense. With an infinite number of universes, each with random physical laws, it's only the universes with life-friendly laws that will have observers in them. Our existence, therefore, is not a sign of design, but a sign of selection. We are the winners of an unimaginably large cosmic lottery. But what does this mean for us? For you? If there are infinite versions of you out there, does your life, your choices, your struggles have any meaning? Some might argue it means nothing, that in an infinite multiverse, everything that can happen will happen, making any individual action irrelevant. But there is another way to see it. Perhaps the existence of the multiverse doesn't diminish your significance, but amplifies it. Your consciousness, right here, right now, is the universe's way of observing itself. Through your eyes, a tiny fraction of the cosmos becomes aware. You are the custodian of this particular reality, this unique branch of the great cosmic tree. The other yous are living their lives, making their choices, but only you can live this one. The joy, the sorrow, the love, and the loss you experience are real in this universe. The choices you make matter here. And perhaps the ultimate purpose is not to worry about the infinite possibilities you are not living, but to embrace and find meaning in the one you are. The cosmic map is not just a diagram of space and time. It is a mirror reflecting our own curiosity, our own desire to understand, and our own profound loneliness in a seemingly silent cosmos. It reminds us that we are infinitesimally small, yet our ability to comprehend this scale makes us, in a way, as vast as the universe we are observing. Our journey is far from over. The map is not complete. There are still dragons in the uncharted territories, dark matter, dark energy, the origin of consciousness. But with every new discovery, every new image from a telescope, we fill in another small piece of this grand cosmic puzzle, and we will continue to explore, because it is in our nature. We are, and have always been, explorers. What do you think is the most mind-bending level of the multiverse? Do you believe these other realities exist? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss the biggest idea in all of science. Thank you for joining us on this journey to the edges of reality. If your mind has been expanded and your curiosity ignited, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Universe Scale. Hit the notification bell, because our next journey will take us deep inside the most mysterious objects in our own universe. Black holes. You won't want to miss it. Until next time, stay curious.